The letter that arrived too late. Every morning, Clara walked to the same blue mailbox on the corner of Elm Street. She had been doing this for 47 years, but she never received any letters. She always checked anyway, always hoped, always walked away with empty hands and a heavy heart. Clara was 82 years old. She lived alone in a small house with a yellow door and a garden full of roses. Her husband, Thomas, had died 20 years ago. Her children lived in another country. Her friends had all passed away. Every day was the same. Wake up, make tea, water the roses, walk to the mailbox, come back, wait for tomorrow. But something changed on a rainy Tuesday morning. The mailman, a young man named Daniel, handed her a yellow envelope. It was old. The paper was fragile. The handwriting was familiar. Clara's hands began to shake. She looked at the address. It was written in her own handwriting. For Clara, please deliver this letter on October 12th, 2026. She had written this letter, but she didn't remember when. She didn't remember why. She sat down on her porch swing. The rain fell softly on the roses. She opened the envelope carefully, as if it contained something sacred. Inside was a single piece of paper, and at the bottom, written in beautiful cursive, "For you with love." She began to read. My dearest Clara, if you are reading this, then I am already gone. But please do not cry. I am writing this letter because there is something I never told you. Something I should have told you 50 years ago. Do you remember the summer of 1976? We were young then. We sat on this same porch. You wore a yellow dress. Your hair was long. You laughed at my bad jokes, and I fell in love with you. But I was too afraid to say it. So I wrote this letter instead. I planned to give it to you the next day. But the next day, you told me you were moving to the city. You were so excited. Your eyes sparkled, and I couldn't ruin that happiness with my confession. So I kept the letter. I kept it for 50 years. Every year, I thought about giving it to you. But the moment never felt right. You got married. You had children. You built a beautiful life. And I watched from a distance, always loving you, always silent. I know this letter is arriving too late. I know you are probably reading this with tears in your eyes. But I need you to know the truth. I loved you then. I love you now, and I will love you forever. I am not asking for anything. I am not expecting anything. I just needed you to know, because some things are too important to take to the grave. Clara, you were my sunshine. You were my best memory. And if I could live my life again, I would still fall in love with you. Every single time. With all my love, forever and always, Thomas. Clara's hands were trembling. Her eyes were flooded with tears. She read the letter again, and again, and again. Thomas. Her Thomas. The man she had married. The man she had loved for 50 years. The man who had died 20 years ago. But wait, something was wrong. The letter was signed Thomas. But Thomas had never written her a letter before. He was not a romantic man. He was practical. He was quiet. He showed love through actions, not words. He fixed the roof. He planted the roses. He held her hand when she was scared. But he never said, "I love you," with poetry. He said it by making her tea every morning for 47 years. Clara looked at the letter again. The handwriting was familiar, but it wasn't Thomas's handwriting. It was hers. She remembered now. She had written this letter 50 years ago. She had written it to Thomas. She had planned to give it to him on the night before he left for the army. She wanted to tell him she loved him. She wanted to confess her feelings. But he came to her house the night before he left. He looked so handsome in his uniform. He smiled at her, and he said, "Clara, I need to tell you something." Her heart stopped. She thought, this is it. He's going to confess his love for me. But instead, he said, "I'm getting married." Her name is Margaret. We've been writing letters for a year. I'm taking her with me. Clara's world shattered. She smiled. She congratulated him. She hugged him goodbye. And then she went to her room and cried for 3 days. She wrote that letter to express her love, but she never sent it. She threw it in a drawer. She forgot about it. She moved to the city. She married someone else. She built a new life. But now, 50 years later, the letter had returned. And Clara finally understood the truth. She had signed the letter, "For you, with love." But she had never written a name. She always intended to write Thomas's name, but she never did. And now, as she held the letter in her hands, she realized something heartbreaking. The letter wasn't from Thomas to her. It was from her to herself. No, it was from her younger self to her older self. It was a reminder of the love she had felt. A reminder of the courage she never had. A reminder that she had loved deeply, even if she never said it, even if she never received love in return. Clara sat on the porch swing. The rain had stopped. The sun was coming out. She looked at the roses Thomas had planted for her. She looked at the yellow door. She looked at the mailbox, and she smiled through her tears. She took a pen from her pocket. She wrote on the back of the envelope, "Thank you, Thomas, for everything. I loved you too. I just never said it." She put the letter back in the envelope. She walked to the blue mailbox. She placed the letter inside, and she waited. But this time, she wasn't waiting for a reply. She was waiting for peace. The next morning, a young woman named Sarah found a letter in the mailbox. It was addressed to her. She opened it. Inside was an old yellow envelope, and written on the front were the words, "For Sarah, please deliver this letter to Clara on October 12th, 2066. Sarah smiled. She didn't understand, but she kept the letter safe, just in case. Because some love stories don't end. They just wait. And sometimes, the letters that arrive too late are exactly the ones we needed to receive. The end. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another story. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever received a letter that changed your life? Or have you ever regretted not saying something to someone? I read every single comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next story. Bye for now.